From the Multifamily Studios in Scottsdale, Arizona, with Patrick and Carrie Antrim. Live today in Multifamily.
Welcome to a very special Valentine's Day edition of Live Today in Multifamily. I'm Carrie Antrim. I'm joined with my husband Patrick Antrim, and we're so happy to have you here.
Yeah, where are they? They're everywhere.
They're all over the country, all over the world. Let us know where you are. We're here in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yes, and we just came into your feed, interrupted your day, but some of you may have maybe you're on the email list and you get notified of upcoming shows. So maybe you're watching on live.multifamilystudios.com. Maybe it's on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. We're bringing the content to you. So thank you for joining us. It's definitely a fun time to be able to live in a world that this is possible, right?
Absolutely.
So Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I wore my red shirt.
I know. I have my red
Got all ready to go.
Yeah. You look like you're ready for a date.
I am.
Do you have a big date planned?
I do. I'm going to take the boys out tonight.
Oh, okay.
Really show them, what it means to take a girl out.
Oh, I get to go too?
That would be fun.
Okay.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Well, that's nice. Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's great.
But in all seriousness, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. I will say that I feel like I had kind of a big win last night because we celebrated a little bit of Valentine's Day with our kids at dinner last night because we just had a nice dinner, and I felt like I won with our oldest and
Got some smiles.
Our oldest and all of them were great, but our oldest and youngest in particular. The youngest is really into Pokemon cards, so he got a stack of 100 Pokemon cards, and that was a big win. And then our oldest got a shirt from The Office.
Yes.
So a Schrute Farms bed and breakfast.
Bed and breakfast shirt.
shirt. So
oh man, it made his day.
It did, I think.
Although Riley had still the puppy dog thing going on, but
I got him a shirt with a basset hound on it, and I think I would still want him to be
still wearing it. Yeah.
A little boy, and they're all growing up so fast, and.
Well,
it's great.
Definitely, it's a good time to remember Valentine's Day. Obviously, pump the brakes, slow down. Maybe leave the office early, take the lady out for, dinner, and or maybe just something else. I don't know. There's all kinds of things that can be done, not just dinner. But it makes me think about the word love, right? So you have the romance of love and Valentine's Day and all the pressure. Like I had to go shopping, right, for Nora.
Yes, for our daughter.
So I'm in this store, and literally, like every bottle looked like the same thing.
I sent him to a cosmetics store.
Yes, I came out with a headache, but and it was actually really. I enjoyed the fragrance.
Yeah,
it was pretty good. Probably should have got
I'm wearing it because I borrowed it from her today.
So but that was fun.
Yeah.
And but man, it was just so crowded. All the little tiny packaging, but everywhere, just tied in.
Every aisle is filled with a box.
Yeah, and they all look the same. Pretty interesting. Yeah. But anyway, talking about the process and all the things that are involved to make Valentine's Day happen and everything, I think that it's important to really reflect, step back on what is love, and then more importantly for our organizations, because a lot of people here are running companies and tuning into how to get better in the companies. But I made some notes, so I want to talk about a few things about. Really, it kind of ties into Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Which is, your intent to love is not enough.
Right.
You have to bring it, right? So you can't. It's not just the intent to love is not enough, right? You have to bring it. Love is action, right? So. I wrote down 4 things to actually do that. Should we go through them?
Yeah, I'd love to hear what you have.
Okay. I wrote down, and this is what I've learned in our workshop we just went to, which is kindness, right?
Absolutely.
So kindness is the idea of bringing this happiness to the other person, right? And if you look at like in work, this could be, are you kind to people, the customer, your investors, all of these things, and what energies are you bringing to that experience? Are you bringing kindness? This is that love in action, love on your customers, love the journey you're going together with your employees, the investors, all that stuff. And so bring kindness to that experience. The other one I put, which is compassion.
Yes.
And this, there are a lot of definitions on what that really means to people and where that lands with them. But this is like, how are you bringing ease to the other person?
Right.
What are you doing to make their life easier, reducing complexity? I mean, that's what I do in business is I'm trying to help high-level influencers reduce the complexities in their life. And if you think about it, if you're an employee and you're bringing, you're easing the pain of your coworkers, right? You're going to engage better. You're going to have better leadership skills. If you're easing the pain of your investors, again, more investors are going to want to work with you, and your customers, right? Like, look at the process that goes through just to rent an apartment today. It's complicated, it's clunky, and the reality is if you are compassionate to the people that are going through the experience of renting an apartment, maybe they're going through a divorce.
Right,
maybe
I was just going to say.
Maybe they're a job transfer. They're uncertain.
You never know what battles people are fighting.
Right.
Even the most happy-go-lucky people, you never know what's going on.
Right.
And so having that compassion and just understanding that, just giving them a smile and making their day or their moment easier.
Right. So again, compassion. The next thing is joy. So with joy, it's really about, what are you doing to anticipate the greatness, the good in life, right? If you're in a relationship, it's like, hey, we're designing this business together, we're scaling it, we're doing these great things, this is the life and the future and all that stuff.
Right.
If you're building a company, it's like, if you're bringing joy to a company, what are you doing, right, to make the others excited about what you're excited about, right? Nobody wants to bring toxic behavior to a company. Nobody wants to bring, energy that's like, oh, doom and gloom and these types of things, right? So you've got to bring joy, I think, to others.
Absolutely.
And then freedom. So freedom is really the idea of freedom is, if you're in a relationship, a romantic relationship, you want the other person to feel that they can feel free from the inside and out, right? Like they're there because they're in that relationship because there's mutual agreements, there's mutual benefits, where everybody's adding value to each other. Well, if you're in an employer relationship, what are you doing to allow your employees not to feel trapped? Right. Like they don't feel like they've got this job and they've got their eye on something else. It's like you're treating them to where you're giving them the freedom to choose where they work, but you've created such a great environment and you've loved in these ways with these 4 steps in such a way that they want to stay with you and they choose to be with you. That's the freedom that you're looking at. And so, going back with freedom, think about customers, right? We are either trying to get customers, if you're talking about renters, you're trying to get renters, then you're trying to keep them, right? And the reality is, maybe if you just focused on how awesome the property can be, how awesome the business relationship, the customer experience, all of these things, if you just focused on creating those healthy experiences, allowing the customers to feel free, like, hey, I can go anywhere, but I'm going to stay here because you've created this experience. So a lot of companies, a lot of people will try and hold on to and control that relationship. Right. And imagine being in a romantic relationship where you don't feel like, it's just not a healthy thing. Right.
Well, there are a lot of things we subscribe to, where there's 0 friction points for us. So just the ease and the trust of that relationship, why would I ever, even though we have other options, why would we ever, I can't think of something right now, but why would we ever move to something else? Because it's just easy, it works, it's great, the relationship is there, and it just continues.
And so these are great ways to take the theme of like Valentine's Day, transfer it to something productive, on how to create a healthy organization, how to be healthy in the organization, how to be coached, but also coach others. And ultimately that's what that's the human experience. Technology is going to eat jobs, technology is going to eat categories of business, departments, but this is the stuff that is going to keep the human connection right
Exactly.
And really where the innovation will happen, because it's about making things better. So exciting things happening in the studio.
Yes.
Boy, this week, talk to us.
And kind of outside
we went out on a
studio.
journey. We brought Tyler with us.
We did.
Who's Tyler?
Tyler is our newest team member. We're so excited to have him. He's running post-production and cameraman, and you know, he's doing great things. He's a cinematographer, a photographer. I mean, he's just multi-talented and has just joined our team. We're really happy to have
and
Tyler
he's going to be part of our, we're creating, I probably shouldn't say it now, but I'll tease you. We are making a film, a feature film, and stay tuned for that.
Yes.
And so as you can see, we're building the team to do these things, and of course we have a team of other people that step in, and you know, from script writing and all that kind of stuff. So exciting things. So where did we go?
We are going to be expanding our studio. So we went and toured some different properties, different spaces, got an idea of what we like, don't like, what we need.
We have an offer on one.
We put in an offer on one, so we are very excited about that.
Yeah,
big things.
Yeah, big things. Live. We even have the live studio audience actually in here. We don't have anybody in here live with us today, but we will have the possibility. Well, not the possibility, doing live events too. So we have a few masterminds that we're launching, and so we're excited about that. So stick around for that. And we've got some things. Should we go to the In the Know segment?
Yeah. So let's talk about what you need to know. We've got the Women's Summit coming up March 18th and 19th. It's going to be a great event, as I've been saying. We have a very high percentage of our attendees are people who attended last year. So they had a great time, they found value, and they're going to join us again this year, which I think speaks really highly to the summit in and of itself.
Yeah, what is it, almost tripled in attendance?
We have almost tripled the attendance from last year. And this year we're adding the 25 companies, best places to work for women, those companies who have made that list. So they're going to find out how they rank at the summit. They don't know yet. They just know they're on the list.
Right. That'll be a nice celebration for those companies. I want to bring up an article that I thought was very interesting. And it's the coming M&A storm that's going to dominate multifamily. So there's this was written by Michael Beckerman. He's the Chief Executive Officer at CRE Tech. If you're not following CRE Tech, you have to be following that if you're a leader. He wrote in the article, staggering 7,000 startups have been receiving funding over the last 5 to 6 years.
Wow.
Just an enormous amount of money that's been invested in the sector. It's doubled, reaching almost $35 billion in 2019. So there's a huge frenzy of interest. However, the adoption hasn't taken place, right? So the adoption of this funding hasn't, the funding's happening. The energy's there, the technologists are there bringing value, but the adoption, as he wrote, is not there. So I'm gonna read a quote by Bing Wang. He's a Harvard University professor, part of the research in Michael's article, and he says, companies reinvest less than 1% of revenue into research and development, while other industries, we're talking about the real estate, right? The other industries in the sector other industries typically invest between 3% and 8% of revenue, right, to advance technology, innovation, these types of things in your business. So in building new tech-driven products, this kind of investment is necessary, right? So you have all this funding happening and all this money coming to an industry, and yet that isn't getting adopted. So you kind of have to step back and go, well, what's happening, right? So Michael goes on to say that there's a need to overhaul the real estate corporate culture, right? In essentially the CTO, the Chief Innovation Officer kind of levels of, how do you bring these things into the business, right? Like, it's one thing to buy a product, but now, like, how do you get everybody to use it?
Implement it.
How do you get the board to buy into it?
Engagement.
Investors, that kind of stuff. So he's talking about really an overhaul into the culture of real estate to embrace this innovation as
Right.
being one of the key points, because similarly you have this lagging adoption that's just kind of it's been sort of a conversation point around multifamily specifically, but real
For
estate
sure.
being the lagging adopters. I also saw that in his article he said something that was compelling, and this is more for the M&A people, but really there's no real public exit strategy for early stage CRE startups. And oftentimes they lack sort of the revenues that would make sense of all these things. So
Right.
those are some really early indicators. When I read the article, actually one of his predictions already happened this week, and I'll let you comment in which one you think that is. But basically he said, well, these are the things to expect in 2020. There's three things. So number one, he's saying that large and well-funded startups will acquire other startups.
Okay.
And the reason for that is they're looking for good teams and the product of
Right.
companies that haven't yet scaled.
Right.
Okay, so if you're out there, understand that really do the due diligence on the companies you're working with, because
Right.
it might be gobbled up by another company
Right.
because of that runway. And at the same time, it makes me think like, are we adopting the technology fast enough? What's the impact as an executive to say, I'm going to just kind of pause to the industry to not advance because these
Right.
companies that are getting funded, there's capital events, there's not enough runway sometimes, they have to keep raising money, and these types of things happen. But definitely want to head over there and read his article. The second thing he said to expect in 2020 was, the well-funded holding companies will still stay active. These are the real pages, the companies out there. He said tech giants like Moody's, CoStar, and Yardi will be also actively acquiring companies, not only for growth, but also to improve the bottom line. So you could expect some of the same in that aspect. But in short,
Right.
he says in 2020, it's going to be a good year for the industry's best funded companies. And if you're a smaller startup with a great team and a great product, it will be a good year in 2020. So
Yeah.
good stuff there.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, and so speaking of innovation and technology, we've got some good news to shout
do
out.
have some
You
good
want to
news.
talk about our next
Yeah, absolutely.
news.
I would love to. So, prop tech innovator Carrie Kirby has been named to Silicon Bayou's 100 list of the most influential technology entrepreneurs, which is really a wonderful thing. So
it's one of those areas, now you and I went there, it's one of those areas that, I don't want to call it I think in the tech area there was even Mark Zuckerberg said, hey, don't come to Silicon Valley to start your thing, right?
Right.
Like talent, real estate, affordability of cost of living.
Right.
People are driving on roads far longer than they should. But you're seeing some things happen in Austin. You're seeing some look at here in Scottsdale.
Right.
Amazing technology innovation happening here. And so now you're looking at sort of, I don't want to call it sleeper markets, but definitely this is a market that some exciting things is happening.
Right, absolutely. So Carrie has been recognized as one of the most influential entrepreneurs and innovators in the state. So that is really amazing. He, has a highly acclaimed tech company, which he has built. He also mentors various startups. He's amazingly supportive of educational events in his area. When you mentioned we went to New Orleans when he was there, or when we were there, he made me fall in love with the area. I had never been there. I didn't know much about New Orleans, other than what everybody knows about it. But you can just tell his heart is there, and his heart is there for mentorship and education and innovation and really helping not only the industry, but his community.
Yeah,
Big
and the
time.
future leaders. I know the young Electric Girls.
Electric Girls,
There's
right.
an article written about this. I had the opportunity to sit down with Melinda and Carrie.
His wife.
Yeah, and it's inspiring. So you
Yeah.
can go to multifamilywomen.com and read that article. But
It's in the
basically,
magazine.
it's an amazing story
Yeah.
about what they're doing. And And again, get out there and spend time with your industry partners, because they're doing some really great things. And it's our goal to really change the way products are introduced. I mean, even here, you're talking about some interesting things with the culture of real estate, with technology, this collision that's happening. Don't pay attention to just us. Get out there, do your own due diligence. Right. You can't go to one event and learn everything you need to learn. No. You need to really understand the channel and the people behind the things that are happening in multifamily. So, with that, I think that it's just been a good day. We're going to let pretty much everybody get back to Valentine's Day. Right. I'm going to give you guys all permission to cut out early, except you guys all.
Wait, am I included in that?
But no, I mean, you want to be in a position that you can do that, right? Like, get your work done. Right. Win every day. Show up. Bring that kindness. Right? Bring that compassion.
Bring the joy. Spread the joy.
Right? And what's the last one? You've got kindness, right? And then the last one, which is the freedom.
Freedom. That's
Allow
right.
people the freedom to actually leave and do the right thing, because they're winning where they are. Yeah. So, anything you want to leave on final thoughts? Or?
No, I would just want to thank everybody for joining us. Please comment, send us your good news. If you have any questions, or if you have someone you think would be great for us to talk to, you can submit that on live.multifamilystudios.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes. Well, happy Valentine's Day, and go out there and have a great weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. We'll see you in
Thanks,
the next
everyone.
show. Bye.